Topic 18B of this lesson 18. It's objective troubleshoot mobile OS and app software. So when it comes to mobile device troubleshooting tools, obviously it depends on whether you are working on an iOS device, on an iPhone or an Android. But in the iPhone, most of the configuration is done in the settings app. Android has the notification shade, and also in iOS there is what is called the iOS control center. So if we look at the iOS, this is the control center, where you can go and you can swipe down on an iPhone. And there's a number of things that you can do here, such as turn on and off the cell network, the Wi-Fi, put the phone into airplane mode, Bluetooth, and a number of other things over there. So it's a key tool to know if you work in an iPhone. Also, in most configuration settings are done on the settings. You could also turn on or off obviously airplane mode is off by default, but if you need to turn it on, and then here you can turn on either Wi-Fi or cellular and Bluetooth. Many sometimes you get trouble connecting to an application, and turning off Wi-Fi, for example, and connecting from cellular, that would fix the issue, especially people that are traveling. When they connect from hotels, that could happen. There's a number of other things over here in general. You can go into general and you can update the phone and that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of stuff. You need to know those things if you are going to be working on the iPhone. If you have an Android, then Android has this, what is called the notification shade. Again, you can go in there and do a whole bunch of security related stuff in the Android as well. Okay, so it's really important to be able, to configure this, rather be able to access to those tools if you want to work on any of these phones. Another troubleshooting tool, and not just for, I would say, not just for an iPhone, but basically any computer, it's rebooting. So most of the time, issues are resolved by rebooting. So rebooting is kind of like a first step in troubleshooting many issues. Again, not just phones or tablets, but also your computer in general. So when you reboot the computer, anything that's in memory, anything that's so every time that you open a program and it consumes RAM, consumes memory, when you close that program, it's supposed to return that memory to the operating system. Sometimes there is a remnant memory. There is what is called memory leakage, in which not all the memory is returned, and then some portion of the program stays over there. Now, with time, all this usage of memory accumulates, and the computer will become also slow, and many things can happen. So when you refresh, when you reboot your computer or device, it will refresh all that stuff, and it will clean everything, and everything's start to work fine. Just think of yourself. You've been working for, I don't know, 48 hours straight, and your mind is completely uh, if you take a nap, if you take a rest, when you wake up, when you come back to work, you feel like new. Well, computer, in a sense, is kind of similar to that. And it doesn't matter whether it is iOS or Android. Obviously, the only difference is the way in which you reboot the computer, the device, right? So if you're working with an iOS, you should be able to know how to do that in your phone, of course. So those are things that you need to figure out if you're working on any of those devices. If your problem is really, really bad and nothing solves the problem, The last line of defense is a factory reset. You got to be very careful about this. This is like formatting a Windows kind of. Well, not necessarily. You could reset Windows without formatting as well. Formatting would be extremely drastic, but factory reset, it's similar to that. It will wipes all apps, the settings and the user. Now, there's different type of factory reset. Sometimes you just want to wipe the apps, or you just want to reset the network settings. So both the iOS and the and Android allows you to either reset the entire device or portions of the device, like just the apps or just the network settings and the like. So again, factory reset is the last resort step in troubleshooting many issues. If you are working with somebody else's iPhone, if it's not your phone or Android's device, make sure that you explain. Obviously, people will know, but um, you gotta be extremely careful when you do a reset or formatting of some sort, because again, people may lose data, and it's not a fun thing to happen. Working with someone that is upset because you um, lost their data. Troubleshoot devices and iOS issues. So let's take a look at some of the issues that may happen. The OS fails to update. Well, it could be because compatibility issues. Make sure that, compatibility. So meaning if you have an old device, you may not be able to update the device. For example, Apple is very famous or infamous for that, in which some old devices all of a sudden are no longer uh, uh, compatible to the new iOS, and then you cannot update that. And therefore, if there are apps that require a certain OS version, you won't be able to use those apps. So that could be a problem. You could not update because of network issues. Again, if that happens, remember that there are mainly two sources of networking for any of these devices. You either connecting with Wi-Fi or you're connecting to your regular cell network. Now, you want to connect to Wi-Fi because many of these apps are very uh, they're big in size, and you may incur in some network charges depending on what kind of plan you have. So when you are going to download and install an app, like an update, for example, you want to be connected to Wi-Fi. But again, if you are in an area where Wi-Fi is not working properly, or they block all kinds of things, if you're in a hotel, you may not be able to do it over that network. So you have to sometimes you have to toggle on and off the Wi-Fi and the cell network to make this work. If the device doesn't have enough power, it is important that if you're going to do an OS update, that the device is connected to the electricity, or make sure that you have your battery is it's a full capacity or has enough power to handle the update. Sometimes take uh, quite some time depending on the size of the update. Again, when everything is storage, and so you also may not have enough storage, right? So if you do not have enough storage, you need to clean up. You need to delete some old videos or pictures or programs, and be able to have enough space in order to do that. Okay. Number two. So this was number one here. Number two, device randomly reboot. Why would a device randomly reboot? It could be because of hardware faults. It could be because it's overheating. Overheating causes that a lot. It could also, if the issue persists after reboot. So if you have any issues, again, the first thing is just like go back to what we talked about, rebooting the device. If the issue persists after you reboot, or reset the device, because if nothing really fixed the issues, you may have to reset it. And you have to isolate to a single app as a cause. So sometimes a single app may be the culprit, and then you have to figure out what is the app that is causing that. Some issues are easy to resolve, other issues are very difficult. It's important to know, to keep a kind of a log, and just be aware, what was done. So if you're working on your own phone, most likely you know what you did. But if you are helping someone in your job, and you need to find out, you need to ask questions about when did it happen, what did they do, what was the last time that they made any modifications to their phones, right? Another So 1, 2, 3, this is device. Okay, so again, device is slow to respond. Check if we talked about, actually these are similar, right? With the device randomly reboots or slow to respond, basically you kind of handle those things in the same manner there. The screen does not auto rotate. If you're watching a video or a photo or anything, and sometimes if you have the phone in a vertical position, the video doesn't look good, and you need to rotate, well, check whether the configuration or the isolate the single app as the cause of the issue. That could also be another thing there. Okay. Continue with the troubleshooting app issues. Here is a screenshot of an Android device. The application fails to launch, or fails to close, or crashes. Those are some of the issues that you may encounter. Force stop or clear the cache. So a lot of these devices allows you to force, or if you go into the app info. So this is now, let's say that Firefox is the app that is giving the issue. If you go into the app info, you can do a number of things. You could uninstall the app, you could force the app to stop, etc. So check for updates. Maybe there is an update for that app, and that's the old app is causing the issue. Okay, now if the application causes the app, remove the application completely and install it again, for example, right? Uninstall the app. Mobile device management restrictions. So we have talked about a mobile device management. This is software, normally web-based software that controls your devices from a central portal on the web. And a lot of the times you do not have control over these things. As an end user, you don't have control of many things. So it would be an administrator. As a help desk, you may not even have all the controls necessary to fix the issue. So it depends on your responsibility and your position. But all the issues that users may be having, it could be because of restrictions that were imposed using a mobile device management solution. And then you need to, either if you have the rights to go in and check the MDM, if not, then you need to contact someone that is higher in your uh, in your uh, in your environment to discuss the issues, what's happening, and make sure that so this software also have login in which you can look at and troubleshoot devices from that central location. Okay. Troubleshooting connectivity issues. Signal strength is a very popular one. So if you don't have good signal strength, I have worked with in the past with people that are trying to connect, but they are on a train. They're moving on a train. They want to connect to a specific application or device, and you know you can't, because you don't have the right signal strength, or they're connecting from a hotel, and and the signal is not good either. So you could move devices closer together and remove the protected case. Sometimes the case of the device may cause that. You can change the hand position. Sometimes other cases, in other instances, well, you just have to, uh, again, if you are using Wi-Fi, turn off the Wi-Fi and use the cell network, or vice versa, if that's possible. and then try again. So those are some of the things that you may do. Configuration issues. Airplane mode or feature enabled. So obviously, if the phone is on airplane mode, you won't be able to do many things. So check that the device is connected. Wi-Fi configuration, Bluetooth pairing. So again, if you need to connect to Bluetooth, you need to be paired. Maybe it's not connected. You need to check Bluetooth. Um, if you are the Wi-Fi configuration, there's not much that you do when it comes to the Wi-Fi. Either you turn it on and off, but sometimes just doing that, it helps. Okay. Um, Troubleshooting near field communication, NFC. Well, this feature can be enabled or can be disabled. Make sure that it is enabled, of course, or that there is a signal strength. So check your Bluetooth, for example, right? Remember, any troubleshooting, rebooting. Actually, this should be 3 over here, and this should be 4. So remember that rebooting the device is a very good troubleshooting steps. And so this is 3, and then this is 4. Troubleshooting airdrop issues. So if you have an iPhone or the Android, some of the newer models have this also enabled for where basically you can configure the phone so that if you touch 2 phones together, you can share contact. Obviously, when you touch the phones, a screen will appear on the other person's, asking if you want to allow to share contact with that person. You can do that. So you can do that with the iPhone. Now, this could be a security risk, even though the other person has to basically agree to accept, that connection. But still, if you are, let's say, for example, you are on a train or you are on a city, whatever, and this window will pop up, and you go like, oh, what is this? And inadvertently or by mistake, you hit yes, you're going to be transferring your contact from an unknown person. So this is a very convenient features in the iPhone to share contact information with friends and family, but at the same time, it is a security risk, and a lot of company actually disable that feature using an MDM solution, and then you cannot control that over there. Okay, so that's the end of this topic 18B. Here we review mobile device troubleshooting tools. We talked about the fact that rebooting the device helps a lot. It helps many issues. So in ultimate instance, you may reset the device, but be careful because when you do that, you may lose all your settings, apps, and photos and videos that you have in your phone. We also talked about device and OS issues, right? So again, rebooting again, upgrading to the newest OS version helps a lot. Uninstalling culprit apps, for example, that would also help. So important to keep that in mind. We also talked about troubleshooting app issues in which, well, if an app is causing the issue, you can force an app to close, yeah, or you could just remove the app, uninstall it, and install it again. And finally, we discuss troubleshooting connectivity issues. And we mentioned that um, if you're having issues with connectivity, make sure that Wi-Fi is on. If Wi-Fi is on, then turn it off and use the cell network to see whether the issue is related to that. Make sure that you have the strength of your connection is also good in order for you to connect. Okay, and with that, we conclude topic 18B. In the next video, we will cover topic 18C, troubleshooting mobile OS and app security.